Welcome to ATW's Whackamania! Coming to you live from a sold-out crowd at the Catty Arts Arena, bringing you the most exciting wrestling action of the year. And your commentary team tonight is me, Richard Tugger, and me, Stats Nerdy Man. And what an exciting show we have in store for you tonight. What's happening tonight, Tug? Well, Stats, we have got the first ever belt versus boardroom match, as the loose cannon, Brian Pillman, puts his heavyweight world championship belt on the line against the General Manager of Whackdown, Eddie Guerrero. If Brian Pillman wins, he will retain his championship and take Eddie Guerrero's job as Whackdown General Manager. But if Eddie Guerrero wins, he will take that championship belt and retain his position as Whackdown General Manager. Well, that's one hell of a prospect, Tug. That means whoever wins this match will have ultimate power at ATW's Whackdown. That's right, Stats. As champion, they will sit on top of the mountain of wrestlers who strive to prove they are the best here at ATW. And as Whackdown General Manager, they will have control of the boardroom. Well, I have to say, any sensible individual is no doubt rooting for Eddie Guerrero in this match, as Brian Pillman is an absolute hoodlum. What are you talking about, Stats? Eddie Guerrero is known for his lying, cheating, and stealing. He is a terrible excuse for a general manager, and Brian Pillman will no doubt be fair and balanced if he wins. I'm really not sure where you get these ideas, Tug, but either way, it's sure to be one hell of a match. And that's not all. It is gonna be the most extreme main event we have ever seen at ATW, because it is not simply a last man standing match, it is not a cage match, it is an exploding barbed wire death match. And why don't you tell the viewers at home how an exploding barbed wire death match works, Stats? Well, I'd be happy to, Tug, but before we do that, I hear the General Manager of Whackdown, Eddie Guerrero, is backstage getting ready for his big match.
Adelaide, Brian Pillman. You're set for the fight of your life tonight, Vato. Because you know, Latino heat eats, breathes, and sleeps ATW. And there's no way you are going away with my job as Whackdown General.
Oh my god, Matt Cardona blindsiding Eddie Guerrero. He's not even supposed to be here. The loose cannons were banned. Oh, this is disgraceful. No doubt Brian Pillman has sent Matt Cardona to attack Eddie Guerrero before this match. Well, it is just smart tactics there, Stats. Oh my god, it's Sergeant Slaughter, and he just smacked Matt Cardona right on the jaw with a slaughter cannon. Oh no. Well, that's put a stop to that backstage attack, but it looks like Matt Cardona has already done some damage, and Eddie Guerrero will start the barbed wire death match with -2 health. Oh, but it looks like Sergeant Slaughter has knocked Cardona out cold. Well, I bet Brian Pillman wasn't expecting that turn of events.
Hey, Matt Cardona, you want to attack me backstage, Vato? You think you're gonna help your little friend Brian Pillman win this fight, essay? There's nothing gonna stop me, Holmes. And I told you, Vato, the loose cannons were suspended from ATW. I never said that you could come back, Matt Cardona. This match is scheduled between me and that puta Brian Pillman, Holmes. So guess what, Matt Cardona? You're fired!
Oh my god, Eddie Guerrero has fired Matt Cardona. Oh, that's not good for Brian Pillman, as he's now going to be short an ally in this match. And that means his ally special ability will no longer be available. Oh, the Whackdown General Manager screwing over Brian Pillman again. What are you talking about, Tug? Brian Pillman clearly sent Matt Cardona to attack him backstage. If anybody's trying to screw anybody over here,
It's Brian Pillman trying to screw over Eddie Guerrero. Oh, such nonsense, Stats. You always take the side of the authority, don't you? You are just a snivelling little suck-up. You know, Tug, you're really starting to... Well, Stats, unfortunately, we don't have time to finish that thought, because the official needs to prepare the cards for this match, and that means we need to hear from our sponsor, Shattered Ice Gaming. Shattered Ice Gaming is a YouTube gaming channel that brings you reviews, unboxings, and thematic playthroughs of all kinds of board games, and maybe a few other videos too. You can subscribe to Shattered Ice Gaming on their YouTube channel, leave comments, likes, and share their videos. If you want to support Shattered Ice Gaming in making these videos, then you are most welcome to subscribe or become a channel member. Remember, it's Shattered Ice Gaming that helps bring you these ATW playthroughs and many other videos too. Thank you, Shattered Ice Gaming. And now, Stats, with the cards prepared for this match, why don't you tell the viewers at home how an exploding barbed wire deathmatch works? Well, I would like to finish my thoughts, Tug, but I suppose this is more important. In a barbed wire exploding deathmatch, the only way to win is by knocking your opponent unconscious. No pinfalls, no submissions, no countouts, nothing. Just a clean knockout. And that means when one of these two competitors' health is reduced to 1, it will reset to its maximum value. If it reaches 1 again, they are knocked out, just like in a backstage brawl. But the difference here is that all of the weapons involved in this match are gonna be covered in barbed wire. The ring ropes are covered in barbed wire. The tables are wrapped in barbed wire. The chairs are wrapped in barbed wire. And when a competitor attacks, they may choose to use a barbed wire weapon during their offensive ability window. And what happens when they successfully hit with one of those barbed wire weapon Stats? Well, that's a good question, Tug, because there's another important thing about this match, and that is that this is an exploding barbed wire deathmatch, which means the ring has been rigged with explosives and a 25-minute timer. Each time a barbed wire weapon is successfully used, it will decrease the match timer by the number indicated on the weapon card, located next to the bomb icon, and the timer will also decrease every time the player discards a card. And when the timer reaches 0 Stats, well, that's when the big boom happens, Tug, and the ring explodes, dealing 12 damage to each competitor. Oh, that will be absolutely deadly, Stats. What happens if Brian Pillman is knocked out? If that hoodlum Pillman is knocked out, then Eddie Guerrero will win. And of course, if Eddie Guerrero is knocked out, Brian Pillman will win. But what about if they are both knocked out by the explosion? Well, in that case, the Whackdown General Manager has the advantage, and it will be Eddie Guerrero who wins. Oh, Brian Pillman is really up against the odds here. Even more proof that the Whackdown General Manager, Eddie Guerrero, is screwing him over. Well, however you want to look at it, Tug, the main event is about to begin.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following match is a barbed wire exploding death match. The only way to win this match is by knocking out your opponent before the timer reaches 0, or remaining conscious after the ring explodes. And this is the first ever belt versus boardroom match.
Viva la raza!
Introducing first with a maximum health value of 15 and a hand size of 16 cards. He is the Whackdown General Manager, Eddie Guerrero. And now, introducing the ATW World Heavyweight Champion and leader of the Loose Cannons, accompanied to the ring by Scarlett, Brian Pillman.
Adelaide, cut his music, Holmes, cut his music. What you think you're doing, SA? You bringing Scarlett out to the ring with you? I already told Matt Cardona the Loose Cannons are banned. This is you and me, Holmes, one-on-one, SA. So Scarlett, Mamacita, you have one chance. You leave this arena right now, or I will fire you, just like I did that puta Matt Cardona. What's it gonna be, Mamacita?
I'm sorry, Brian. You're gonna have to take Eddie on by yourself. You know, Matilda's dog food bill isn't cheap, Brian.
Go on, Scarlett. You get out of here. I'll take Eddie out all by myself. He's no match for me.
Good luck, Brian.
Oh, what a dirty trick by Eddie Guerrero. He has now thrown Scarlett out of a building as well, which means Brian Pillman is all by himself. And that means Brian Pillman won't have access to his valet ability either. Not that it would do him any good in this match, because pinfalls have no effect. Well, it looks like Eddie has really set himself up in a strong position for this match as we get underway. But of course, Brian Pillman is still the World Heavyweight Champion, and his champion's advantage is that he will begin with the initiative.
And he looks to open up with a kick to the gut. And that's going to cost him 1 stamina. And he needs a 2+ to hit. Oh, and Eddie Guerrero gets out of the way of that kick to the gut. And Brian Pillman has to shuffle it back into his draw pile and draw a replacement, getting a knife-edge chop. And now Eddie Guerrero will take the initiative. And Eddie Guerrero comes out strong with a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. And he's going to need a 3 to hit with that. Oh, what a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. He just nearly snapped Brian Pillman in half. And that deals 2 damage to Brian Pillman and gains Eddie Guerrero 2 momentum. And now Eddie Guerrero looks to follow up that backbreaker with a drop kick. And he's going to need a 2+ to hit with that drop kick. Oh, and he gets a 5. Oh, he drop kicks Pillman right in the chest, sending him across the ring. And that drop kick deals 1 damage to Brian Pillman and gains Eddie Guerrero 1 more momentum. And now Eddie Guerrero looks to follow up with a brain buster. Oh, and because that attack will deal more than 3 damage, Eddie Guerrero is going to attempt to use a barbed wire weapon. Oh, and he sets up a barbed wire steel chair, looking to brainbuster Pillman right onto it. But that's going to be a tough move, as he needs a 5 to hit. But Brian Pillman will get the chance to defend against that barbed wire weapon attack by rolling a die, and if he rolls a 5 or more, he successfully defends. And Eddie Guerrero slams him right onto that steel chair with that brainbuster. And what a truly devastating attack, as that brainbuster deals 4 damage to Brian Pillman, plus 4 damage for landing on the barbed wire chair, for a total of 8 damage, dropping Brian Pillman all the way down to 4 health. And then Eddie Guerrero will gain 3 momentum for the brainbuster and 2 more momentum for the barbed wire chair. And that barbed wire chair also causes the timer to tick down by 2 more minutes. And things are not looking good for Brian Pillman, as Eddie Guerrero looks to follow up that brainbuster with the lasso from El Paso. Oh, but Brian Pillman spins over and slaps Eddie Guerrero right in the face. Oh, I don't know how Pillman managed to do that after that brainbuster, but that slap ability will cause the lasso from El Paso to suffer +1 to its target roll, meaning Eddie Guerrero will need a 5+ to hit. Oh, but he gets a 2. And Eddie Guerrero is dazed from that slap to the face, and it also adds 1 charge to his unpredictable ability. And now, Brian Pillman takes the initiative. Well, Brian Pillman is gonna struggle to make a comeback here. But what's this? He sends Eddie Guerrero towards the ropes, and goes for a chop block. Oh my, that chop block's a signature move. And that means Brian Pillman can attempt a devastating attack with it. And you know what that means, Stats. He's gonna try and send Eddie Guerrero straight through that barbed wire table. And that chop block's gonna cost him 2 stamina. But because he's attempting a devastating attack, it means the target roll is gonna be increased by 2. So he needs a 5+ to put Eddie through the barbed wire table. Oh, and Eddie's fighting back, trying to cling onto the ropes and avoid that chop block. So Brian Pillman discards a knife-edge chop to allow him to re-roll his attack die. And because Brian Pillman discards that knife-edge chop, the bomb timer ticks down. Oh, and he gets a 5. Oh, he sends Eddie Guerrero up over the top rope and straight through those barbed wire tables. Oh my god, I think he's broken Eddie Guerrero in half. Oh, and Eddie Guerrero crawls his way around the outside of the ring as Brian Pillman stands triumphant. And that chop block deals 2 damage to Eddie Guerrero, but the barbed wire table adds another 6 damage, meaning Eddie Guerrero takes 8 damage, dropping him all the way down to 5 health. And then the chop block gains Brian Pillman 2 momentum plus 6 momentum for the barbed wire table, for a total of 8 momentum. Oh, and it is taking Eddie Guerrero a long time to recover from that attack. And that's going to cause the bomb timer to tick down by 6. And because that chop block has the cannon icon, Brian Pillman will gain another charge on his unpredictable ability. And when the chop block is discarded, the bomb timer ticks down once again. And now Brian Pillman picks up the battered carcass of Eddie Guerrero and goes for a power slam. And that costs him 2 more stamina, and he needs a 3+ to hit. Oh, Brian Pillman is really struggling with that power slam, so he discards a suplex to allow him to re-roll his attack die, but also causing the bomb timer to tick down again. Oh, but he gets him with that power slam, dealing 2 damage to Eddie Guerrero and gaining Brian Pillman 2 momentum. And the general manager is in pieces. He is battered and broken. Well, Pillman's not in much better shape himself, but he is in good enough shape to taunt Eddie Guerrero, which allows him to regain 1 stamina, gain 1 more momentum, and draw 2 cards, getting a punch and a tornado DDT. And then as the power slam is discarded, the timer ticks down again. And now Brian Pillman picks up a fluorescent light tube and goes to punch Eddie Guerrero with it. Well, that's going to cost him 1 stamina, and he needs a 2+ to hit. Eddie Guerrero reaches for that barbed wire chair as he desperately tries to adapt. And if either Brian Pillman or Eddie Guerrero had 5 momentum, that would add 1 to the target roll. But neither of them have 5 momentum. But Eddie Guerrero will get a chance to defend against that weapon attack using the special blue die. Oh, and he fails to roll the shield. Oh, Brian Pillman brings that fluorescent light tube right down over Eddie Guerrero's head. And the punch deals 1 damage to Eddie Guerrero. But the fluorescent light tube adds an additional D6 damage, which means Brian Pillman will roll a die and deal 4 additional damage. And those first 2 points of damage reduce Eddie to 1 health, so his health track resets to 15. And then he takes 3 more points of damage, dropping him to 12 health. And then Brian Pillman gains 3 momentum. And that bomb timer keeps ticking down as the fluorescent light tubes cause it to tick down by 3. And now Brian Pillman looks like he is planning to do as much damage to the general manager as possible as he goes for a tornado DDT. And that's going to cost him 2 more stamina. And he's going to need a 4+ to hit with that. Oh, and he gets a 3. Oh, Brian Pillman is struggling to line it up, so he discards his clothesline to re-roll his attack die, but that causes the timer to tick down 1 more space. But that still deals 3 damage and gains Brian Pillman 2 momentum. And time is running out here as Pillman discards the tornado DDT, causing the timer to tick down again. But now Brian Pillman is out of cards, and he has no choice but to rest, drawing another card. And he gets the Air Pillman. And now Eddie Guerrero takes the initiative, and he comes out looking for the single leg crab. And he needs a 2 to hit with that. Oh, and he puts Pillman into the single-legged crab, dealing him 2 damage and gaining 1 momentum. And Brian Pillman is going to take 2 stamina for his defender's compensation. Oh, and Pillman is in agony as Eddie Guerrero looks to follow up with a suplex. Oh, and he's going to need a 3 to hit with that. Oh, and he lands that suplex, slamming Pillman right into the mat. And that deals 2 damage to Brian Pillman and gains Eddie Guerrero 2 momentum. And Brian Pillman gains 2 stamina as his defender's compensation. And now it looks like he's going for the Three Amigos as he follows up with another suplex. Oh, he needs a 3 to hit this time. Oh, and he gets it. That's a second suplex. And that deals 2 damage to Brian Pillman and gains Eddie Guerrero 2 momentum. And Brian Pillman gains another 2 stamina as his defender's compensation. And it looks like Eddie Guerrero is going to finish off the Three Amigos. And he needs a 3+ to hit. Oh, and he does it, the Three Amigos, dealing another 2 damage and gaining another 2 momentum. And as his defender's compensation, Brian Pillman will draw 2 cards, getting a neckbreaker and a DDT. Oh, what a devastating set of suplexes. And now Eddie Guerrero looks to follow up the Three Amigos with a European uppercut. And he's going to need a 2+ to hit with that. Oh, but he misses. Brian Pillman stumbles out of the way, allowing Brian Pillman to steal the initiative. And Brian Pillman looks for a neckbreaker. And that's going to cost him 2 stamina. And he needs a 3+ to hit. Oh, and Eddie Guerrero is trying to adapt to that neckbreaker. And if Brian Pillman's health was 7 or less, Eddie Guerrero would block the attack and take the initiative. But unlucky for Guerrero, Brian Pillman has more than 7 health. Oh, and he drops Guerrero with that neckbreaker, dealing 2 damage to Eddie Guerrero and gaining 2 momentum for Brian Pillman. But then due to that adapt card, Eddie Guerrero regains 1 health. And now Brian Pillman looks to combo that neckbreaker into a DDT. Oh, well, that's going to cost him another 2 stamina. But as it's a square combo,
That's going to require a 4.
and Brian Pillman misses. And Brian Pillman shuffles that DDT back into his draw pile and draws a replacement, getting an Irish whip. And as the neckbreaker was discarded, the timer ticks down once again. And now Eddie Guerrero will take the initiative. And now Eddie Guerrero looks to get back into this match with a punch. And he needs a 2+ to hit. Oh, and he clocks Brian Pillman right on the jaw, dealing him 1 damage and gaining 1 momentum. And he looks to follow up that punch with a knife-edge chop. And he needs a 2+ to hit with that. Oh, and a chop right to Pillman's chest, dealing him another damage and gaining another momentum. And as his defender's compensation, Brian Pillman will draw 2 cards, getting a knife-edge chop and a DDT. And now Eddie Guerrero follows up with a gory special. Oh, but what's this? A reversal by Pillman. And that reversal is going to cost Brian Pillman 2 stamina, deal 2 damage to Eddie Guerrero, and gain 2 momentum for Brian Pillman. And now Brian Pillman takes the initiative. And Brian Pillman goes for an Irish whip, looking to send Eddie Guerrero into those barbed wire ropes. And that costs him 1 stamina, and he needs a 2+ to hit. Oh, and Eddie Guerrero tries to adapt to that Irish whip. He does not want to go into them ropes. Oh, and if either Eddie or Brian have 5+ momentum, the attack suffers +1 to the target roll. And Guerrero did his best to adapt there, but it was no use, as Brian Pillman sends him into them barbed wire ropes. And for those ropes to take effect, Pillman needs to roll a 2+. Oh, and Eddie Guerrero slammed right into the barbed wire, dealing an extra 2 damage for a total of 3 damage, and gaining him an additional momentum for a total of 2 momentum, and then the barbed wire ropes caused the timer to tick down by 5. Oh, this match is absolutely brutal. It's got to be near its end now. And as the Irish whip is discarded, that causes the timer to tick down 1 more. And Eddie Guerrero bounces back off those barbed wire wrapped ropes. And Pillman looks for a DDT to finish things off. And that costs him 2 more stamina. And as he's on a roll, he's going to need a 4+ to hit. Oh, and he hits him with that DDT, slamming him straight into the mat. Oh, and as he spikes Eddie Guerrero, dealing him 4 damage.
Just as the timer ticks down to oh my goodness, look at the state of the ring. And I think both competitors might have been knocked out here. Oh, wait a minute. What's this? Oh, Brian Pillman is struggling back to his feet. Oh, he's done it. Brian Pillman is standing tall. He knocked out Eddie Guerrero just before the bomb exploded.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner and still ATW World Heavyweight Champion and new Whackdown General Manager, Brian Pillman.
Oh, he's done it. Brian Pillman has defeated the Whackdown General Manager, and he now has complete authority over ATW's Whackdown. Oh my goodness, this is awful. No, Stats, this is a great thing. It's gonna be fantastic. Now let's see what Brian Pillman has to say as the new Whackdown General Manager. Well, Eddie, it looks like I'm on top of the mountain now. And here's my first order as Whackdown General Manager. Matt Cardona is rehired with immediate effect and double pay.
Oh, good lord, I don't like where this is going.
And as my second order of business, Scarlett is going to be the new head referee.
Oh, good lord, no. This is getting worse.
And next I'd like to address our commentary team, Richard Tugger and Stats Nerdy Man.
Oh no. Well, it's been nice working with you, Tug.
Stats Nerdy Man, I've always admired how honest you are, so you're gonna get to keep your job. But as for you, Richard Tugger...
What, me? Brian, I've always...
Shut your mouth, Tugger. We all know you sit there lying through your back teeth. Back when I was trying to reach the top of this mountain, you did nothing but insult me and mock my attempts to win the Rumble, to take out Gilgamesh. And I know you were laughing when Randy Savage smashed my larynx to pieces. You're nothing but a stooge, attaching yourself to whoever you see as the winner.
No, Brian, that's not true. I always thought you were great. Please don't fire me, Brian, please.
Oh, I'm not gonna fire you, Tug. You do a great job sitting there on the commentary desk. But from now on, every time you come out here to commentate on a match, you're gonna do it like the little crybaby girly girl that you are. And you're gonna do it wearing a dress.
What, you can't do that, Brian. I don't even own a dress.
Don't worry, I'm sure Scarlett's got one you can wear.
But it won't be the right size.
Oh, I think you better stop talking, Tug. He's just gonna make things worse for you.
What, is this not fair? I supported him.
Well, maybe Brian Pillman's got some honor after all.
Whose side are you on, Stats? It's not fair. I just want to be a wrestling commentator. Oh, it's not fair.
And if you want to stop wearing that dress, Tug, you're gonna have to get yourself back in the ring.
But I haven't wrestled in 10 years.
Well, there's always time for a comeback, Tugger. And there's just one more thing to address. As Whackdown's general manager, I'm changing the name of ATW's Whackdown to be ATW's Brian Pillman's Triple Extreme Wrestling. And everyone back there in the locker room better be prepared for more brutal matches in the future. So buckle up, because it's gonna be a bumpy ride while I'm in charge.
Well, what a shocking ending to the night.
ATW is never gonna be the same again. But that's all we have time for from this year's Whackamania. Aren't you gonna say goodnight to the viewers at home, Tug?
Oh, it's not fair. I don't want to wrestle. I don't want to wear a dress. Oh, this is horrible. I just wanted to be a wrestling commentator.
Well, I guess Tug's a little beside himself at the moment, so I'll say good night for the both of us, and we'll see you all in the future on ATW's We'll see you all in the future on ATW's Brian Pillman's Triple Extreme Wrestling. Good night, everybody.